I started this process a year and a half ago. I started meeting with designers before we got out of school last year.
So we work at the start to be able to separate the two worlds of New York and Nevada. The scenic designer and the director and audio and lighting and myself, we all sit down and we discuss what kind of world we want to build. And from the start, we wanted a separation. So we did it through color choice. So all of New York is in a colder color palette, and they have a lot more layers because they are from New York, so it's going to be colder. And Nevada is much of a warmer tone, and then everyone has more of a rustic kind of feel to their costumes.
We need to go into like really deep research of what was happening in both states at that time. So in the 1930s, it's the Great Depression. So a lot of like the states are kind of like doing bad at that moment in the US. Both places were building, but the big difference that we found and something that helped us a lot was the materials that we're using. Because New York started moving into steel, and Nevada was doing the really traditional wood construction. And that's kind of like how the set merges, because we start creating that world of actually building in wood, building in steel, and melting them together.
Balancing everything can be very tricky. Essentially, I have to almost put myself in a treehouse where I'm looking at a really big playground where I think, okay, here's the jungle gym of all the acting moments I want to see. Here's how we're using a set. That's like the monkey bars of how we're utilizing what Danny has really dreamt up and given us, which is fantastic. How can I physically utilize that and create stage pictures? Then I think of, I'm a voice teacher, so I think, how can I run the rehearsal room to be healthy on these students' voices?
In the last couple of months, I would say I've learned so much about my body and how much it can handle just physically. With this show, it's so demanding. I've never gotten to play a leading role before, and so even just taking this on has been a huge journey of learning what it looks like to create a character in the background. It's been more so a learning of like what I'm capable of, I think, more than anything. And I think I'm capable of more than I often allow myself to believe.
The most rewarding part, I think, is really bringing all of these people together and forming this kind of like well-oiled machine that is Crazy for You, with 25 cast members, myself, Zena, and Caitlin all working backstage, and then all our crew kind of being brought into that mix in tech. It's really like, it feels like every single person is just a perfect little cog in like one giant clock, wheel, machine, whatever you want to call it, that is just like running straight through from top of show to closing.
I love directing students. I would any day just choose to direct students over directing professionals because the growth is so exciting. Whereas if I would direct at a professional company, you're kind of coming in, it's very quick, and it's product oriented instead of process oriented. So I love the product, but I almost more than anything love the process.